So I came up with this called 14 Carets. Off my BlackBerry. Technology, baby. Getting it. I went to Africa when I was 15. The streets were covered in gold. Accra felt like the worst of summer in Chicago. When we reached the villages, the people treated us like they were the best bread from Chicago. A local asked me if I was American. African American, I said. You are an American in Africa, he said. Something about a lineage lost in generations, of a language babblized over oceans of tribulations made me think that I was home. Made me think they thought I was home too. Thought home was paved in gold dust. Made me think that this was my entitlement, that Accra was my inheritance. Some people lose their flag and bury it during the quiet after the war. I lost my flag in the cremated ashes of a hangman turned burn continent, and it hurts so much. Because we are homeless. We are the homeless generation. Lost children's hyphenated into history's oblivion, some 20 million strong, cut down through those centuries. We wove our history in slave song tapestries, and this is our new flag. It is red, it is white, it is blue. But stitched between a hushed yesterday that grandma never wanted to speak about are the memories of a flag my great-great-aunt Erie's calloused hands lacked the femininity of the ladies. But she tore the deep south black soil from the green earth until her hands were dripping with red gloves and sprung life from the ground every September harvest. Every December after I turned 15, I remembered the great trees and the sun. Gold streets where real African children ran. Old streets where real African women ran. They stole African streets and sold them to the Americans, so we bling every September. When great-great-aunt Erie died on the south side, cousin said that she was nearly 100, never went back to Louisiana. Bonita was a town forgotten, no flags there. Louisiana was a memory forgotten, no flags there. Yet I looked to my America and asked, when did I become that stepson? I asked to eat at the family table, but I received only what was left when picked over meals turned into legislation. Turned my father's childhood into 1968. Turned my dinner table into wars fought over scraps from red and blue state plates. My blood brothers turned coats because of 1968, when a country told my mother to get back in her place. And this is my family tree, bearer of strange fruit hanging in the Louisiana sun, a poplar hacked down, whittled into a country that decided not to remember me until our parents stood up on Calvary in 1968 DC, bearing crosses and black fists. They rewrote their history so that I could have a country to forget. America, I come from a continent where men stand tall. I come from a continent where women stand tall. Africa, home, lost home, why won't you see I stand tall? In Accra, the streets are covered in gold dust, and I thought I could make a pretty penny. In Accra, the people look like old dust. Europe has made its pretty penny. The children there are hungry. Missionaries say their starvation makes them skinny. But read between the bones and you will see their hearts beat through the chimneys. Listen to the ruffled flags of skin flapping in the wind, and a continent once mighty, now fragments of broken treaties lost between beast of burden and civilization. When I was 15, I went to Africa. A man asked me if I was American. African American, I said. You are an American in Africa, he said. And he was right. My home is 50 states. My feet were the first of men in my family to touch African soil since history brought us here. My father reminded me when I was 15 what it meant to have a home. So when our house caught flames that winter, I felt what it was like to be cold. He died 3 years later. How I miss my father's home. Lest home be forgotten, I have forgotten I am homeless. Some say we be so ugly, we got hyphenated. They used to say we be so worthless that we only worth 3/5. One bottle of spiced rum, one hard yak, one moonshine gin. These were the ingredients to make one vote out of 3 African men. I wish I could go to Africa and feel like it was home again. And in September, I will cross that ocean once more, and Africa will be my long-lost best friend. My family is in the States. My history is in these states. But my heart lies in a continent of great trees. Of roots wrapping along red clay, wrapping context into the folds of history. A continent of streets covered in gold where children race wet season storm clouds without shoes and men stand tall. My heart lies with a parent who claims me not prodigal, whose whose figure I've only seen sailing away. Somewhere in a crowd, there's a man who told me that America is across the ocean. Go home, son. Your home is across the ocean. Leave the gold to us. Your streets are covered in opportunity. Please bring your gold to us. Thank you. All right. Moving along. He looks thirsty.